That was the workout. That was fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm taking requests for the next time. I just wanted to bring in like a light note. I shared with you guys up until like last week, I probably wasn't feeling the best because of everything that's going on, of course. So now that I am feeling a little better and I'm trying to pick myself up, I wanted to share that same energy with you guys. Hey Ty, you missed the dance off. So I wanted to share that good energy with you guys and just bring the vibes up. It's Friday night. We can't go outside, but that's okay. We can have fun with each other. So thank you for everybody that's tuning in. I'm about to bring Rosalyn in. I'm super excited for tonight's interviews. It's okay, Ty. We're going to have another one. So I'm about to bring in Rosalyn, and I just want to, again, thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to have a really good show. Make sure that you have your pen and paper. Make sure you have your wine. Make sure you take down notes because she's going to share a lot of great tips on financial literacy, real estate investing, building your business and your brand. So definitely stay tuned, stay on, and jot down some notes because we're trying to maximize during this time. So I'm going to bring her in now. Let's see. Yeah, I can see.
Hi, girl.
Hi, Rosalyn.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, hon. How are you?
Good. I was trying to rock out a little bit.
I love it. I was like, oh, I should have brought my wine.
I know.
I'm like you. I got my hoodie on like you. I got my hoops, so I'm ready.
Yes.
We're dancing.
We're twinning tonight. I love that. Good energy.
I'm going to lower this light real quick. I'll be right back.
Yes, no problem.
Right.
As you guys can see, I have my little office set up here.
Awesome.
Yes, I love your plants in the background.
Oh, thank you. They're not real, but they look real.
I love plants. I just went to buy some recently too, and to bring into the house, bring some life, into the house throughout all this craziness.
Yeah, some natural.
Yeah, but I'm so excited to have you here. Let me actually turn this off because it's a little loud.
No problem. Yeah, I'm trying to adjust the lighting in here. It's kind of bright.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if
How you been?
I've been okay. I mean, at first when everything was going down, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely was feeling a little stressed out.
Same here.
A little depressed. I didn't know like what to even do during this time because you want to feel empathy. You want to feel empathy towards what's going on, right? Towards everyone that's losing family members and things like that. So I didn't know what was right to say or do during this time. So it's
at the same time you're in panic. You're in panic mode too. You're like,
yeah, exactly. So it took me a little while to this is gonna sound bad a little bit, but to get used to what's going on, right? Which we don't want to get used to it all the way because it's gonna go away. We know it is. But it took me a while. It took me a while to adjust. To adjust to the new normal, definitely. And then just going outside and like having a mask on for, like if you go to groceries, it's like super packed there. You have to wait outside. So you basically have your mask on and your gloves for like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours.
Which makes you sweat and you're like, oh, I could be catching it right now. I should be home. I know.
Exactly. It's a little traumatizing, So, and then it's like, you don't want to take it off because, I have children. So I don't want to bring any type of germs into my home or anything. So but I'm better now. We did lose a family member.
Same here, my grandma.
Yeah, and I think that's like a similar story for a lot of people, unfortunately. And we did recently just have another family member get really sick, but thankfully, thank God she made it through and she's recovering. So we're taking it one day at a time.
That's all you can do.
So but I'm doing better now, and I wanted
Good.
to contribute just like you are, and just like so many people who are doing so many great lives. Thank you. So many
Yeah.
great webinars, so many great Zoom calls. Like it's just been really, really amazing to
Yeah.
watch and to participate in. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's the right
Totally.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, like me, it took me some time to process everything. So I know there's others out there who probably don't feel the most productive right now, but just know that that's okay too.
Right. Exactly.
But but when you feel like it, when you feel better, definitely tune in. There's a lot of free webinars that are super dope,
Yeah.
that a lot of amazing women like Rosalyn are holding. So definitely, look out for that.
Mm-hmm.
And and for those who are feeling antsy and who want to get out the house, I just want to ask you this, like,
Yeah.
besides nature and fresh air, like what really is there out there, especially in New York City, right? It's
Yeah.
like a bunch of distraction, right?
Big time. Yeah.
So take this time when you're not being distracted by other things. Like right now, everybody would have been at a happy hour, but instead we're like participating in a really
Right.
dope educational live,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So stay home. We're
Exactly.
gonna write it out
Build
together. We're
build
gonna do
relationships,
this.
reconnect with people. Like I know I haven't called my friends, a lot of my friends in so long because I haven't had the time. So now
Yes.
I'm like, all right, I need to reconnect with certain folks. I need to catch up or do all of that stuff around the house. Like my closet needed to be organized. Like
Yes.
there's a lot to do when you think about it. It's just it
Yes.
takes a minute to readjust.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know I'm talking a lot, but I just wanted to give a brief
It's
intro.
fine.
But definitely, and I love that you said that, like decluttering and things like that, because I think that that's the way that I cope with it, that I
Right.
coped with it in the beginning. Like I literally did a whole like renovation to my apartment. Like I threw
Nice.
out so many papers that I didn't need. I decluttered. I mean it was crazy. And I like even bought some new furniture and stuff like that, just so, because this is the new norm and we're at home, I wanted us to feel comfortable,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
So,
The
and to
best
be,
time.
yeah, and to be in a cleaner space. So I'm not going to talk too much anymore.
It's
I'm
okay.
so happy. Hey, mom. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this live with me, because I've been watching everything you're doing, and I
Oh,
love it.
thank
And
you.
it's
You
so
too, by the
crazy.
way.
Yes, and it's so crazy because we had. Can you close the door just in case there's a noise? It's so crazy because we just had the event in January with the vision board,
Yes, I
and
know.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that we created, it's like
Yeah,
that's it. We got to create a whole new vision for
I
20.
know. I know. We're gonna have to redo it, do a do-over.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So, but thank you again for being here. I
of
appreciate it.
course.
So let's get right to it, because I know everyone wants to hear all of the great information that you're going to share. So first and foremost, I wanted you to talk a little bit about your background, talk a little bit about your educational history, and what led you to your passion.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I'm from the Bronx, right? I um, born and raised Bronx native. When I graduated high school, just like a lot of us, went to a CUNY. Well, I went to a college, right, for one semester. And after one semester, I realized that I didn't want to be in student debt. I couldn't afford to go to college because I had to get a full-time job, just like many of us, right, to
Mhm.
help our parents and our family. So after one semester, I just, it wasn't for me. I wasn't getting the fulfillment I thought college would be like. I saw it as an expense, and I figured that, getting job experience was going to be better for me because I didn't even have a career in mind that I really wanted. I was just kind of like floating around.
Right.
So I joined a hospitality program, 10-month hospitality program at a business school. And, went there, learned about hotel management and all the different areas that you can work in a hotel. They had job preparation. They taught me how to interview, how to wear a suit, the whole 9 yards. And I thought that was a lot more beneficial to me because at 19, I was able to get a full-time job in a hotel, making decent money, from the bottom, but still it was in line with what I needed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So while working for my first hotel downtown, I made sure that I signed up to all the trainings that they were giving. If there was cross training within departments, I was always there. There was a class being taught, I was there. Like I just opened up my mind to learn everything and everything, just because that's kind of how I am. And then, you know, was able to climb up the ranks, get promoted every couple of years, made it to regional levels, traveled, did all of that good stuff. Again, no college degree, which was kind of unheard of back then. Like I would be in certain rooms with other graduates from like NYU or Cornell or these big hospitality programs, and they're asking me, what school did I go to? And I'm like, you know, something small in the city just to prepare me to get a job, pretty much.
Right.
But it worked out. And I always tell people that, you know, you got to have kind of all options open for kids that graduate high school. You can't expect every child to just follow the traditional norm, because college is not for everybody. You know, you have to understand the commitment of that young adult before they head out. You know, you throw them out there into the world, and there's other options like vocational trade schools. I'm all for it. You know, I encourage that a lot when I speak to parents that are like, my kid is not a school kid. He doesn't want to go to college, and I'm going to pressure him to go to college. And I'm like, you don't do that, because at the end, it ends up hurting the student more. You know, you end up taking out loans that you don't need. You end up spending time in liberal arts classes that are going to get you nowhere. So again, it depends. I would never knock a traditional education, but I always talk about the other options, you know, trade schools and learning a trade kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's important. And you have such an amazing story. You know, and the fact that you know, were that type of person who looked outside of the box, and you know, you didn't continue school, but you still knew that you had to get education in an area that can make you profitable, and that you were interested in. So that's great. And I like that you said that vocational, because I currently have a contract with South Bronx Job Corps. And it's amazing because that's what we do for our students. So we provide to them that second option, because they didn't finish high school. They can now come to us, and we can teach them a trade. And we can give them, like, you know, the fundamentals for them to be successful in their careers and in their life, even though they, you know, made that choice to not continue school for whatever reason it was. You know, they still have a second chance. So I think that's amazing. That's wonderful. That's
awesome. So that's kind of my educational background. And then in working hospitality, you know, I figured that I just like to learn different things. So I would, you know, taught myself how to trade stocks. I taught myself how to do personal income taxes. So every year I would do my own taxes. And then now I kind of put all of that into my business, which is Urban Teach, and kind of showing other people, you know, or teaching about the things that I've learned that I practice for myself. One being real estate investing. You know, I'm a landlord, I own properties. So kind of putting that into an educational format. So for the people that are working folks that want to buy a house one day, but they don't know where to start, or they want to get into the stock market, you know, investing option, or even starting a business, just because I've started one on my own and I've kind of learned a few things. So the key is just to put the information out there so that people don't feel stuck. Like, I want to learn about social media marketing. I don't know where to go. I want to learn about creating my own graphics. How do I do that? You know, and I find through the months as I keep going with the business that more and more people are finally like reaching out and saying, hey, I didn't know that. I was too afraid to ask, or I was too afraid to seek someone to mentor me or help me through this. You know, as an adult, you think you're supposed to know it all, but sometimes you don't, and you need that help.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk a little bit about all of those areas. But I definitely think that mentorship is such an important thing. And I think that I shared in the live last week that there's so many companies and individuals who want to invest in people who want to start their own businesses, and who want to share their knowledge, and who are required sometimes by their corporate companies to spend a certain amount of hours mentoring other individuals. So definitely seek it out, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's the key to growth. You know, if you don't ask for help and you don't open up your mind to learning new things, then you're just going to be stuck kind of in the same cycle.
Exactly. So I want to ask you about the hospitality industry a little bit before we move on to Urban Teach. So I know that you opened up a few hotels in New York City and Miami, and you created multi-million-dollar budgets and marketing plans for the hotels. So did working in the hospitality industry kind of give you that push and that entrepreneurship bug?
I think I always had it. Like even when I was in high school, like I would charge for, checking reports or writing essays for other people. I always had it in me. It's just, it was kind of just figuring out how to apply that I want to be my boss mentality.
Yes.
I always said I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want to work for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But, growing up, you're like, I need a job, I need a paycheck. And then you have to stick to it because you're like, I have bills to pay now. I have children. I have 401k and this and that. And then you become complacent in that environment. But deep down, you know that you really want to create your own thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, hospitality definitely helped me with giving me my work ethic because it's a very hard industry to work in. It's a 24/7 operation. If you work in certain areas or certain departments, you got to be available on the weekends, on the evenings, especially if you're a manager. I would go on vacation every year with my laptop. I would have to log in to my email from the beach somewhere.
Right.
And like my husband or my family would be like, why are you here with the laptop? Why are you constantly working? You're on vacation. You're on vacation. And a lot of people wouldn't understand it because if you're not in an industry like that, after 5 o'clock, you shut off. You're good.
Right.
But in an industry that's 24/7, like hospitality is like an ongoing job pretty much. So it taught me to just be flexible and, like now I carry that into my business. If I have to work on the weekends or at night, or if I have to jump on a call, I've already been trained to do that because I don't have that mentality of after 5, I don't work anymore. So.
Right. Absolutely. So to keep it on topic a little bit, Savory Edition, he said mindset is always there, but execution takes time. So that's a great opinion that you provided. So that prompts me to ask you, you knew that you wanted to be your own boss, but you were making really good money, I'm assuming, in the hospitality industry, of course, because you were creating these multi-million-dollar deals for the hotels. So how did you shift your mindset to know that there was a possibility you would probably have to take maybe like a pay cut if you moved into the entrepreneurship world for a certain amount of time?
Right.
Like, how did you prepare yourself for that?
So, I mean, since I've known this for years, every year I made it a thing that I had to save a certain amount of money that year. So I think that's where financial literacy comes in, because you can make $60K a year and have great savings, and you can make $100K a year and have no savings. It all depends on what your financial literacy and commitment is, right? So for years, I would take, my income tax money and I would invest it or save it. I would take my bonus if I had a bonus. I would make sure that I trimmed on my expenses. So I lived like, people call me cheap all the time. I don't care. Because I'm like, I'm going to shop at Target. Yeah, like I'm going to shop at Target. I'll take a really nice vacation every year, but spending things on items, I just don't do that. I buy what's practical, what's necessary. I do the same for my kids. So I've been able to like readjust my mindset about money and spending. So that was able to put me on the right track to saving for that one day. So now that the one day is here and I'm no longer, working for a company, I can run my business. I still have income coming from my investment properties. So that was another way of me putting my money into.
Right.
So that I can get some of that income as kind of replacing some of my job income.
Yes.
So I think what's important is finding ways to minimize your expenses. Have a plan, like put it on paper, say for the next 5 years, I'm going to save this much. I'm going to pay my credit cards. I'm not going to shop like I do. I'm not going to go out like I do. And I'm going to maybe invest in certain things that will generate a little bit of cash flow. So that when you make the jump, you're not like completely in zero, which is what I tell people. The reason you can't quit your job and start a business is because you have zero right now. This is not the time. You got to prepare. So whether that means paying down your debt, improving your credit score, putting away a couple of years of tax refund into your bank, having a little side gig that generates like $100 a week, just so you can put that out, on the side. So it takes a lot of planning. So anyone that has a job that's like, I hate my job, I'm going to just start my business. That's not the way to do it. You got to have a plan. You got to have an exit plan that makes sense, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think to add on to that, I think I would say, because I was very recently in a similar situation where I was in an industry for a very long time, in the finance industry, and I felt like I learned what I needed to learn to be able to start my own business and have that financial literacy mindset and education and things like that, to start my business, you know, from the bottom. And I knew that I didn't want to continue to contribute all of that time to someone else, right? I wanted to be my own boss, like you did, you know, same mindset. So, but I wasn't ready when it comes to having my finances together and having saved up enough money to be able to just, you know, to sustain me throughout the transfer process.
Right.
So I decided to look for opportunities in industries that were very closely related to what my purpose is now.
Perfect.
And even if I had to take a pay cut, even if I had to, well, I definitely made sure that I looked for something that was more on a consulting basis so that I can make my own schedule and it can kind of, you know, co-work together. So I think that that's something that people can do who aren't ready to leave their, you know, to leave the check by check system so suddenly. Then that's maybe something you can do. Just start looking into the industries that match with what you really want to do in your life.
Skills, right? Because you can still you can still bring money in with what you already know from an industry. Consultant work is the best example of that, because I was doing consulting work as well on the side. So that was kind of like my extra, you know, if I needed to go back there, I can. But it's on my terms. You know, I can put 5 hours a week into it and use that money to pay my car, my insurance. You know, so there's like a lot of ways. I just think getting out of the mind frame that your check comes every Friday is what needs to happen first. And second is, where else can I pull the money in that's going to replace that weekly Friday check?
Exactly. I mean, I put up a video this week of you when we were at the workshop where you said that, you know, what fearless means to you is taking risk. And that's definitely what it is. Like, in order for you to be in the place where you want to be and work in your purpose, you have to take that risk. It can be a calculated risk. It doesn't have to be, like we're saying, we don't recommend that you just pick up and go, but definitely calculate it, definitely plan for it. But absolutely take the risk, because you're going to live a more fulfilled life when you're working in the areas that you're passionate about. So let's talk about, let's go back to where you were talking about stocks and creating marketing plans for small businesses and real estate. Let's break that down a little bit.
Okay.
So in your spare time, you said you started learning about this because you knew that it was your passion and you knew that it was something that you wanted for your own life, and then eventually teach others how to do. So I think one of the, as you said, one of the things that helped you become an entrepreneur was that you were investing in stock and investing in real estate. So that was bringing you residual income. And that's another thing that's super important. So talk to us a little bit about what led you to that place. And then if maybe we can break down a little bit on each area.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with stocks. So the reason I got into stocks or had an interest in it is my boss at the time, you know, he would take me out to lunch and he would constantly jump on calls while we were having lunch talking about work stuff with his broker, right? And he will get on the phone with his broker. The broker is, you know, you don't need a broker now, but back 15 years ago, you needed a broker to kind of help you navigate the stock world, right? He would jump on these calls in front of me and talk about, hey, just sell 100 shares here and buy 50 shares of that. And where do you think I should allocate this $1,000 or this $10,000? Oh, my portfolio is up 20%. He would use all these terms and I would be like, what does that mean? I would ask him, what does that mean? How do you do that? He goes, yeah, I don't always win. Sometimes I take a loss, but I'm in the game. And that's what he kept saying. I'm in the game.
Right.
You know, there's history. There's a strategy behind stocks. You know, you're not going to learn it in one day, but if you're interested, here are some books. Here are some things you need to do. And then back then, during my downtime, I had no kids then. So I would just, you know, get on the computer, take some time, research. I opened up my own trading account. And I started small. I started with like Netflix stocks, you know, when they first came out. They were like $4 a share. I think I put like $1,000 in it, some of my income tax refund money into that. And then I saw the results. Like a couple of months later, the stock price kept going up. And I saw my account and I was like, ooh, $1,000 is now whatever, $4,000.
Right.
I pulled that money out. kept learning, kept reading, kept talking to him, asking him questions, bought the next batch, and then kind of kept going from there. So I already understood that that was a way for you to generate income without putting in physical hours of labor, but you needed to put in physical hours of learning, right? So
Right.
the learning equated income. And because I kind of was interested in it, I wasn't like bored with it. Then I just kept reading and
Mm-hmm.
reading and learning and watching videos, watching movies, you know, whatever I needed to do. So I already understood that. So that was kind of like my play thing. I'm going to play with that, put some money in there when I can, cash out when I can. I didn't really have a strategy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an option. So I tell people, if you have an interest in stocks, start with the learning process.
Right. And we're going to get a little bit more into that because I do want you to provide some tips before we get off
Mhm.
the live so that, you know, people, if they are interested, they can, you know, get a little glimpse on where they can start,
Right. Yeah.
basically.
Totally.
Yeah. So, let's talk about, so you were promoting self-education, right?
Yeah.
You know, you said you were one of those people that didn't continue high school, but you still wanted to be educated again in the areas that you were interested in. So let's talk a little bit about that, and let's talk about how that led you to be the founder of Urban Teach NYC.
So yeah, so I wanted to just have a platform where I could include all of my experiences. So let's say, you know, what I learned in stocks, what I learned in financial literacy, what I learned in real estate, and just kind of have a platform where people can go and take, you know, a webinar and learn about different things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my first initial thought was, all right, let me use social media to start my business because that's what everyone's using.
Right.
I had to learn a little bit about, you know, graphics and kind of in my head decide how I wanted my page to look and what should I include or not include. And then it just took it from there. But it took me time. It's still taking me time. I started the company 2 years ago, again, while I was employed full time. So I would use my evening hours, my weekend hours to like spend time developing this idea and this concept.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyone can start anything. It doesn't matter whether you have a job or not. It's just dedicating the time to, you know, be disciplined enough to spend the
Right.
time growing your baby, your business baby,
Yes.
as I call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about so you say you started it 2 years ago. So that means you started the social media platforms 2 years ago as well,
Yeah,
correct?
right.
Okay, so I mean it's admirable because you have a pretty good amount of following right now. So
Yeah.
can you share some tips on what you knew you had to do to be able to get to that place where you can engage a lot of people to follow you and to want to learn more about the services you were offering and things like that through your content?
Yeah. So I mean, I did at the beginning, I did pay someone to help me navigate social media. So that's one key thing that if you're not very savvy with social media, you
Mm-hmm.
know, look for someone that can help you that already has a proven system because you know, if you have a job, then use some of that income to
Right.
grow the business is what I'm trying to say. Social media was one of those things that I just didn't know a lot about. I had a Facebook page, I had a MySpace, you know, way back when, but I used it on a personal level. I didn't understand how to use it from a business perspective. So that was the first thing. I was able to get help from someone, pay them a couple of $100, and they were able to teach me certain things like, you know, keeping your page professional, right? So basic, but I so many times I see people with Instagram pages that have a business and they're trying to sell a product or a service, but at the same time it's mingled with other things. So when you have a following, they get confused about your message. Sometimes
Right.
you people get, you know, offended easily. They don't want to follow you after a while if you're posting other things outside of what you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to put out there. So understanding the message you're trying to put out from the business perspective is very important. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing I always tell people.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So would you say that the people that get turned off are business professionals in the field, or they're also individuals that start following you that are in different areas that doesn't necessarily have to be like a corporate business?
Yeah, yeah. No, it can be individuals, just individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm following a page because it's
Mm-hmm.
helping me with my skincare, right? I'm following this page and it's skincare, and that's what I want to see. But all of a sudden, you start posting about gorillas and cockadro, I don't know,
Right.
like horses, you know. And I'm
Right.
like, what happened to the content I want? Now you're posting
Right.
something that doesn't have my interest,
Right.
and you found another page that is strictly skincare. You're
Right.
gonna unfollow one and follow the other, and that's
Right.
what I learned through paying someone that was helping me understand. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you got to keep your message very clear, because people's attention span is very small. You know, it's very limited nowadays. I mean, I do it all the time. I get tired of certain things and I just switch out. So it's just understanding the that rhythm, I guess, of how things work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that people want to follow something that they can learn from, basically. And
Right.
if all the information you're providing all the time is not something they can learn from, then, they'll, like you said, they'll get easily distracted and follow someone who is putting more content on what they want to learn more about, of course.
Right. Right.
So also something that you do, let's talk a little bit of, continue to talk about branding. Also something I know that you talked about and that you do is keep like a certain uh color scheme and keep like a certain
Yeah.
pattern on your page, which I know you have said recently that it's very important.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that and about branding.
So, you know, I get a lot of mixed reviews about this, but I have my own personal opinion that I like to just keep sharing with everyone. So there are popular pages in every industry that don't follow any given trend, right? And they're very successful pages. They'll have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers. That's cool. Keeping a trendy or a brand look on your page doesn't necessarily translate into followers, but it does give your business a sense of consistency. And depending on where you want to take your business, right? If you want to grow a business so that a bigger company can see it and maybe buy it from you one day or
Right.
invest with you and into your business, then keeping it very uniform is the way to go, right? Because
Okay.
your message is clear. So that's when branding comes in, is what is your purpose with your business long term? And do you want to keep this business for you, for yourself, and keep it as like your plaything? You make money here and there. There's no real long-term plan with it. Then you can post whenever you want, whatever colors you want, whatever trend,
Right.
it doesn't have to keep a certain look. But if you want to maybe form your business in a different eye so that you can scale and maybe like have other people manage or divisions of your company, then you want to start with some kind of structure. That's
Right.
kind of my opinion on it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, how long does it take once you figure out like what um the visual for your, let's say, your Instagram, how you want it to look? How long would you say, or how much do you say that people should be engaging in on their page to be able to create a certain amount of followers? Let's say like over 5K or over
Right.
10K. Like how often do they need to be engaging with their community?
I mean, I think it should be a daily thing, honestly. You're going to see the numbers change when you don't engage and when you're not posting. And that's what I've learned in the last 2 years. Like if I have a couple of days where I need a break from social media, right away I see my insight, my statistics numbers drop. Because it's all about engagement. The algorithm they use is all about how often you go on, how often you post, how often you respond to a comment, how quickly you respond to a comment. It's a lot of things put together. Um, so you really have to be in there all the time, and it's okay to take a break. Mental health is, necessary. But even if you just go on there to scroll and see a couple of people's pages and say hello, hi, great page, great post, you just need to be in there really to grow it. And you have to have that in your mind every single day. It has to be a constant thought, because you can't just say, oh, I'm only going to play with my business page. I'm only going to go on IG when I feel like it, because that's
Right.
not work. You're
Right.
going to be sitting on 100 followers for a year. And, it's just a matter of commitment. I was on it the first year. I mean, it was to the point it was really bad in a way, because my husband would be like, you're always on the phone. We're
Right.
eating dinner and you're on the phone. we're at a bar having a drink, and there you go on Instagram. Like, you know, not everybody
Mhm.
understands it. The kids, especially, they're like, you're always on the phone, this and that. So I had to kind of readjust myself to the times that I go on and not, because I
Right.
don't want it to interfere with my daily life. But in the back of my head, I know that I have to be in it every single day.
Right, right. So I want to ask you one last question about this, because it seems like a lot of people are really interested. There's somebody that asks how to get followers in general, but I will answer his question in a second. So I want to ask you, besides engaging your own community, the people that are commenting on your posts, the people that, you know, that want to know more information, do you also go on other platforms that are related to what
Yes,
you're doing and engage in their commentary and engage with others
always.
that are commenting under their page? Is that important?
Yeah, totally. Because that's how you'll get noticed as well with your business. So, you know, the original name for the company was Urban Teach, right? I didn't want to put a city after it because I wanted to make sure that I could expand it, you know, on
Right.
a national level, not just New York. But
Mhm.
since I'm starting in New York and New York is my home, I'm like, you know what? Let me put NYC after it.
Right.
The fact that it has NYC after it, when I comment on other people's posts, for some reason, I'm not saying this because I made it up, but people actually told me this. Like, I'm following your page because it said NYC, and I live
Mhm.
in Texas, and I'm from NYC, so I was curious, and I clicked on your page, and I figured, oh, this is interesting, so I'm gonna follow you. So
Right.
it taught me that also how you display your business name has an effect. So when you do
Yes.
comment on other people's pages, you know, it just matters. So definitely you got to engage with other people in your name for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I think we learned a few key things. I know that oh, this is a really long name.
Yes,
Womb
Roman.
XN.
Roman
Oh,
said NYC is official. That's right, Roman.
yes, Roman. Actually, thanks to Roman, we
Right,
know
that's
each
how we
other.
met. Yes.
So shout out to Roman. But Womex and Viajera, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Also wanted to know, let's see where it started. How do you get followers in general for a new business? I've been following random people. It's hard because they don't follow back. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're sharing with you basically, is that it is gonna take time.
Right.
And like Rosalyn said, you may have to hire someone that has more knowledge in it. I mean, there's so many people trying to offer their services in that area. I know I get a tons of emails all the
Yeah.
time, but I'm glad that you mentioned that, because maybe now I'll look into it. At first, I
Yeah.
thought it was like a scammers thing, and I'm like, wait, like,
No, yeah. I mean,
like I
I
want
wouldn't,
real followers. I don't
yeah,
want like fake followers.
I wouldn't pay for fake followers. I've never done that.
Yeah,
That I think
exactly.
is not a good thing. But you definitely want to pay to learn. So, you know, if someone has a
Yes,
plan that they're like, oh, it's $100
exactly.
a month for 3 months,
Yes.
invest in it because you're going to learn something new and you're going to apply that to your business.
Absolutely. So I think maybe 3 or 4 key things that we learned is branding is important. Definitely keep it. I know on Rosalyn's page, she keeps it to like a certain color scheme, and she
Right.
normally doesn't deviate from that. So definitely that, and your page looks really great, by the
Oh,
way.
thank you.
So keep sharing tips on your page. Definitely engage with your followers when they comment,
Yes.
and also go onto other people's pages or other business pages that are, you know, related to what you're trying to do with your business, and comment and engage with their following as well. That's really
Right.
important too. So and again, it's going to take time. They may not follow you right away, but it's all depending on the content that you're putting out too, because if you know what you're
Right.
talking about, if you're
Yeah.
sharing things that people feel like it's beneficial information from them, they're eventually going to start following you. So
Absolutely.
it's a process.
Yeah.
But don't get discouraged, because I know I've been there. You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, and
Same
I've
here.
had
Here.
certain things happen in my life too that kind of has held me back from being fully focused in my journey. So, you know, things happen in your
It
life. It
happens.
takes a
Yeah.
long time, but don't lose focus. Keep, you know,
Right.
stay true to your brand, stay true to your product,
Your
stay
message.
true,
Yeah.
yeah, stay true to your service. So I think those are the key things that Rosalyn shared with us today. So I hope you guys wrote it down.
Yes. And I want to
Because
add
it's
one
super
more thing to
important.
that.
Yes.
I want to add one more thing to that. So you're going to also get the people that are like, you shouldn't post about that. Or like the people that are offended, or they send you a DM. You know, I don't like that you said white people. I don't like that you said Latina. What about Latinos? Like just crazy stuff, right? And
Right.
everyone has an opinion, and that's great. That's fine. just know that everyone has an opinion and so do you. So stay true to your message. Always be respectful. You know, I would never get on a tick for tat on Instagram with anybody.
Right.
And I tell people that all the time. You come for me and you try to be disrespectful, I simply delete and block and I keep moving. You know, because again, I'm building a brand. I'm not building something that I want someone to come back to me and say, she's disrespectful. She likes to talk to people a certain way. I would never do that. So be very mindful of how you react to the negative energy that comes with it, because you're going to get it as well.
I agree 100%. And I would add to that and say, everything is not for everyone. You know, so this particular person, it's just not for them. So you don't need to convince them that what you're doing is valuable.
Totally.
Either they see it or they don't. So I agree with you. Block and delete, and that's it.
Block and delete.
Yes. And then one last thing I did want you to respond to. Shari Naila, she said, have you collaborated with other pages?
Yes, all the time. Yeah. So if you go on my page, you'll see that I'll have a webinar with someone that's an expert in REITs, which is the form of stock. I brought him on. We collaborated. He taught one of my classes on Urban Teach. I work with Landlord and Stilettos all the time. She's based in Philly. You know, she has a similar page. She's my girl. We talk like once a week. We just brainstorm and come up with new ideas or products. We actually have some of the same products and we still work together. You know, you don't have to.
That's beautiful.
You don't have to be, you know, you don't have to hate on other pages that are doing the same exact thing you're doing, because my customer might be different from the customer that she's going after. And that's perfectly okay.
Exactly.
But collaborating goes a long way for sure.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. That's something that's very important for me, especially because I have a women empowerment organization. So that's it. That's what my passion is. It's uplifting and empowering women, you know. So I love to meet women like yourself, you know, who are just doing amazing things and who I know that I can't provide this product, but I know Rosalyn can, and she's a dope woman and she's running an amazing business. So here's the connection. You know, I think that's super important because again, like Rosalyn said, even if you're in the same industry, it's never a competition because you're going to learn something different from everyone, even if it's the same business, and you're going to connect differently with everyone. You know, just like one little thing I want to slip in is I've been recently doing a lot of research on like introvert and extrovertness. And that's another thing, you know, like some people may connect a lot with people who are extroverted, and that's fine. And there's some people who may connect with people who are introverted, where we have the same vision sort of, but we're not communicating it the same way because we have our own different personalities. Characteristics. So, you know, it's completely fine. I think collaborating, it's super, super, super important, and networking as well.
Totally.
Yes. So, Sona Karma said contact is key. They started following you. They started following Urban Teach NYC for your content. So that's super awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, I want you to now share some tips on the stocks. You know, we're in a crazy time right now. I'll share a little secret of mine. I actually been learning stocks throughout the time.
That's awesome.
So I know I reached out to you on the side, and I was like, hey girl, let's talk about it. So so I've been learning. I'm in a great group, a women's group actually. And it's been really great. We've been supporting each other and we've been learning so much. So I want you to share a little bit about how the stock market is doing right now, and maybe some tips. I know you can't share like insider stuff or whatever, but maybe share some tips that can help us, you know, look at it and see how we can get in at a very low rate and with not that many funds. How we can just get started basically.
Yeah, but the first thing is education. You know, like I don't want anyone to go and open an account and put $1,000 in there and start trading without really spending the time to learn, you know, how does a company stock go up and down? What affects the market? How is this company performing financially? Like there's certain things that you need to understand before you decide to buy a stock. You should not buy just purely on its price.
Right.
Of course, there are going to be a lot of stuff that's on sale right now because the market kind of took a dip, you know, that first week of March, and now is climbing up again. But what's concerning to me with the current state is, and I stopped actually buying as of last week, was because we have a lot of unemployment, right? Unemployment rate is going up every week. There's a lot of folks that are not working. The states are paying a lot of money out in unemployment checks.
Hey guys, so we got kicked out, and that is my fault because I wanted to start partying really early on my Instagram. But I'm gonna bring. So sorry, guys. So sorry, Rosalyn. I think it's because I started the IG earlier. But I definitely want us to close out strong. So let me get you back in here. Let me just pin these tags. Let's see, urban. Let's do urban teach NYC. Thank you guys for coming back in. So sorry. I started super early, that's why, so it kicked us out. Let's see. IG live. I'm just pinning these tags. IG live series. I think that's good enough. Let's do the Fearless Show. All right. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm so sorry. I think it's because I started super early, so the IG kicked us out. But I'm gonna let Rosalyn back in just a second. Thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate. Can I borrow your piece? Hey, Rosalyn, I'm so sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
I started the IG live early, so it
That's
like kicked
okay.
us out. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is I stopped buying as of last week because I also started a trading group, right? I'm part of a trading group that someone else is running because
Okay.
I get other people's perspective on the market. Again, you have to take the time to just learn from different folks, different views, point of views. You know, you can't just stay in your own little bubble. So even though I know how to buy stocks and invest, I want to still hear what other folks in the industry are.
Of course, yes.
So I stopped buying, I stopped investing for as of last week, just because the unemployment thing is making me nervous. I think that companies are losing a lot of money this quarter.
Okay.
So we don't have a true picture of what the market really should look like.
Right.
Things are going to start coming down, way down. So as an investor, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait for it to hit that low point to then come back in and buy some. So I tell people that are trying to get in now is learn, and start putting your money aside so that you have some money, so that when, you know, the time is right for you to get in, then you can jump in because you'll be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're providing some courses on stock investment, correct?
Yeah, so I have just one class that I had on the website. I still have on the website. It's just more of a personal class. It was talking about the 5 stocks that I was buying for the last couple of weeks. And I explained why I buy them. So again, what are the factoring items that I look at when I decide to buy a stock? And how to open up a Robinhood account, which is what I use, the Robinhood app, to buy my stocks.
Yes.
And, you know, for you guys that want to get started, again, that want to learn, Robinhood has tutorials right on YouTube. You can download the app for free. You can, you know, get on the app, read every day, you know, watch MSNBC, which is a channel that has shows on stock investing. So if you really want to get in, you got to spend the time learning. You can't just decide that I'm going to do it today and I'm going to invest tomorrow and I'm going to make money in 2 days, because it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, it takes.
Yeah, definitely get the knowledge. I agree. Because it is a bit tricky. But since you're offering like one-on-one coaching sessions, I think it's super great. If anyone is interested, yes. I definitely encourage you. I wish it was something I would have done a long time ago, but of course life,
it's okay,
got in the way, but
it's never late.
Yes, exactly. So, and especially, and this is why I always want to reiterate how great this time that we're spending at home is.
Yes.
Because you can create a new plan for your life, right? So again, there's so many people that are offering so many great resources like Rosalyn. You know, if you want to learn more about stocks, definitely reach out to her and have that one-on-one coaching session with her. I mean, this is something else that can bring you in residual income. You know, you can start off slow. You don't have to start off investing so much money. So
Right.
definitely reach out to her and you know, start learning first, as she said,
Yeah.
before you go all in.
That's right. Yeah. And, you know, I
Yes.
hear, and some folks are like, oh, you know, I tried it once and I lost $1,000 or I lost $2,000. And I'm like, you tried it once. This is not something you just try. Like, you got to treat it as it's your money. So you want to know money. So you want to know where you're
Right.
putting your money in, you know.
Exactly.
And if you lost that money, did you sell too soon? Did you have a strategy when you went in, or you just bought it on the fly? Like, how did
Right.
you? So I always tell people when I hear stories like that, I'm like, wait a minute, tell me the whole story. Don't just say I lost $1,000, because you know,
Exactly.
it's obviously a reason why.
Right.
But yes, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're learning right now, right, Rosalind? We're learning patience throughout
Yeah,
this process.
totally.
Everything requires patience. Things are not
Exactly.
just going to happen overnight, and sometimes when they do, people lose money, like you
Oh
just
yeah.
mentioned. You know, so it's not going to happen overnight, guys. We have to do research in all of these areas that we're interested in, whether it's becoming a full-time entrepreneur, whether it's becoming a stock
Yeah.
investor, whether it's becoming a real estate investor, which we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
Everything requires time, whether it's starting your business, starting an LLC, starting a nonprofit. Everything requires time
That's
and
right.
effort and education
And commitment.
and
Yeah.
commitment. Yes, and
Yeah.
focus. So this is the time. Like, and this is not to rush anyone to, like, oh my God, if you're sitting at home and you're not doing anything, to make you feel bad about yourself. Not
Right.
at all. We're just sharing the
Right.
resources that we have and what's out there. This is what's out there. If you want to know about this, fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Exactly.
So, but you know, we're all sharing what we can offer. And I think that it's good that it's coming from our community.
Yes.
I mean, that's like
Most
the greatest
important.
thing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
So
no
that's
longer, there's no longer an excuse about, you know, I don't have people that look like me to teach
exactly.
me, because it's a booming industry. You know, the learning and educational industry is going to change for the better, for the best. So you're going to find someone that you're going to feel comfortable with, that comes from your same background, that talks your language, to teach you what you need to know. You just have to spend the
Yeah,
time looking, and you got to, you know, commit to it.
exactly. Absolutely. And, you know, follow and engage. That's
Absolutely.
super
Yes.
important. Like
Don't
engagement.
pay. Yes.
Yes.
Don't pay for fake followers. Don't do
Exactly.
it.
Like engagement is something that I definitely started focusing on last year, and it's super important, you know, because engagement goes in so many ways, whether it's social media or whether it's learning how to engage someone when you're pitching your business and when you're talking about your purpose. You know, how do you keep people focused on the conversation and wanting to know more? So, you know, all of that are things that we're trying to give you tips on right now. So definitely take advantage. And I just want to thank everyone who's following us so far. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I hope
Yes.
that the information that Rosalind is providing is really helpful. Definitely follow her. She's going to share her social media once we're done.
Yeah.
And we're going to cover our last topic, which is real
Okay.
estate investing. And I'm excited
Hey, Bass.
about
Yes.
that.
Saying hi to Bass, and
Yes.
see some of my guys on here too.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching, guys. We definitely appreciate it. So let's talk about real estate investing. This is another area that I'm super excited about. I've been thinking about getting my first home this year. So it's
Yay.
something that I've been like super focused on.
Good. Good.
And yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about how the market is, what the rates are. Is it a good time? Is it a bad time? How is it going to be post COVID? Let us know. Give us a tea.
I mean, I think sales are going to slow down a little bit. So I'm in North Jersey. That's where I live now. And
Okay.
sales have slowed down a bit, which is a good thing, because that means that you'll be able to get some good deals. So again, if you're ready, if you have the money, your credit is okay, you're still employed, it's going to be a good time to buy because you're going to be able to negotiate a better deal. Because there's not a lot of people out there that are qualified right now at this time, or people are scared. You know, they're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with my job, or what
Right.
laid off. And so there's a lot less people buying right now, which is, it works out in your favor if you're ready and able to do it. I don't think the market's going to crash. You know, that's not even a possibility right now. I think things are going to just slow down for a couple of months. But I just tell people, you know, get ready, you know, make sure your credit is good, keep saving money.
Yeah.
Again, change your mindset, spend less, try and earn more. I got started with multifamily. So I bought a 2-family house. That was my first property. And I was able to live in one, rent the other. So I had some income.
That's amazing.
And I wasn't afraid to just move into a place that wasn't 100% ready. Like it was an older home. So I had to do floors, I had to paint, I had to do certain things. I think a lot of people that are looking for their first home always envision like everything has to be perfect. I want it to be open space, and I want it to have a chimney, and I want it to have.
Right.
I tell people your first home needs to be what you can afford right now. Not only what you can afford, but what can grow in value in time. Because at the end of the day, a house is an investment. You want to be able to flip that house in a couple of years if you want a bigger place. You want to be able to take equity out of it if you want to open up a business. You got to treat it as a business. You know, I mean, sorry, as an investment. The days of saying, I want to live, you know, in white picket fence with a huge grass and no neighbors. If you have the money for that, great, go for it. But if you're a working individual that working like me and you know, you're middle income, then you need to change that strategy, because this is how a lot of people end up buying houses that they can't afford. They end up foreclosing, they end up short selling, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of folks have heard stories like that, which really sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you say that, that you say, don't look at it like, my first home is going to be my perfect home, the perfect home, the one that I've always wanted. You know, sometimes that's a little bit unrealistic depending on what your situation is financially. So I think that the things that we learned right now is definitely to take this time to work on your credit, as Rosalyn said. Save your money. Definitely look at your budget and see how much you're spending, what you're spending on, where you can cut. You know, we're not outside now, so we're not spending money.
This is the time to save.
This is the time to save. But this is what I'm saying. Like, outdoors is a major distraction. It's a major distraction. So now that we're being forced to stay inside, it's good for so many reasons, including spending, because you know, we have to, you know, spend on gas, spend on our cars, spend on getting on the train,
your hair, your nails,
your nails. I mean, it's
happy
ridiculous.
hour.
Happy hour. It's Friday. Look, this is our happy hour. You know, this is great. Like we're chilling at home, right? So definitely it's a time to work on your credit, save money, budget yourself. Another thing I want to add is, which is a little bit off topic, but kind of still together with financial literacy, is call your credit cards and call your loans and see if you can lower your interest rates. Because that can help, you know, and just, you know, make a list of what your debt is right now and see how you can work on fixing that during this time. Because that's super important if you want to purchase a home and invest. As Rosalyn said, the market is not going to crash. And actually, I think it was the mayor today that said prior to COVID, New York was doing really good. We weren't in a deficit. So that means that the market is not going to crash. So the reason why we're able to give people stimulus checks and all of that stuff is because our market was doing well.
The economy was really good.
Yes, exactly. So yes, the economy was doing well. So it's not going to crash, so don't be scared. But definitely look into it. I heard that the rates are really low right now. I've been asking around. And yeah, just look for what you can afford. Definitely. Like for me, that's something that I'm looking for, is like, what can I afford that I can get my family in right now? I pay a really high rent, and I'm like, I can be paying this as a mortgage, you know, so that's exactly. So that's kind of like how I'm looking at it. So I definitely am not looking for like my dream home. I'm looking for something that's, you know, in a safe neighborhood that's good for me and my
Right.
kids. And that if I don't want to stay there long term, I can eventually sell or rent or,
Exactly.
you know, whatever the case is. But definitely, I hope you guys wrote down all of these suggestions and tips. And again, if you want
Yes.
to get more information, just reach out to Rosalyn, Urban Teach NYC.
Yes.
You guys already know she has great content and great information to share with
Thank
you.
you.
So, but I don't want to let you go yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit about like your background. You know, I'm a Latina just like you. So I want to ask you, like, has it been difficult as a Latina? I don't say minority anymore because I feel like we're like, you know, Blacks and Latinos, we're like a lot of the majority right now. So it's a
Right.
really great thing. So
Yes.
have you experienced any setbacks because of your backgrounds or anything like that? Or do you feel like, no, this is like an industry that we can kick the door down and bust right through?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's gonna hold me back at all. I mean, I think we have a bigger reach now because you can kind of cater your content and your business to your community, but also
Mm-hmm.
outside of your community. So there's a lot of potential. You know, the next phase of Urban Teach is going to be Spanish classes as well.
Oh,
Because I'm like, I
wonderful.
speak Spanish. You know, I
Yes.
know Spanish business owners that don't speak English. They also want to learn about marketing. They also want to learn about where to buy their first house. So I'm like, I don't see anyone
Yes.
doing that. So that's going to help me also expand that market, you know, and kind of get into the whole Latino Spanish speaking
Yes.
that doesn't have that right now.
Oh my God, that is super
Yeah.
major. Thank you for that. You know what? That just gave me an idea. Like, we should probably have this live in Spanish,
We
actually.
absolutely should. Yeah,
Yeah. So let me know.
definitely.
Let's talk about that offline because I think that that is super important because also, you know, a lot of us have been helping create, you know, new wealth for our families. So
Yeah.
we may have generated that income now that we can provide for our parents to get their first home if they haven't gotten it already. So
Right.
they might want to know information, right?
Yeah,
Also. So
totally.
I think that's a great thing. We should definitely talk about that.
We should. Yeah.
Yeah. So before I let you go, can you just share, I guess, hey Mark, can you share some advice, some extra tips? Of course, share your social media page and
Yeah.
your business website with us. And yeah,
Yes.
all that goodness so we can
I'm going to put
continue
it
to
in the
follow you.
I'm going to put my page on the comments just in case.
Okay, great. Perfect. Yes.
Yes. And then the website will be on my bio. So
Awesome.
my website, you can actually, so it's Urban Teach NYC. It's the Instagram page. You can go on the website and click on courses, click on classes. You can schedule a consultation call. Everything is on there. So it's urbanteachnyc.com. And yeah, there's a lot of projects coming. So I'll be
Yes,
definitely keeping everyone in the loop.
yeah, I love everything you're doing again. I really, really love it. Thank you so much for sharing, you know, your knowledge with our community. It's really important. I'm definitely gonna call you.
Yeah.
So I suggest that you guys also reach out to her. She has all the facts that we need. And definitely like for those who are entrepreneurs building your business, like this is the time to focus on the, you know, the key things that you need to build your platform and to gain that following so you can share
Yes.
your information and education and resources and services and products, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. So Rosalind can also help you with that. So thank you
Yes.
again so
Thank you, Sue.
much.
We're definitely gonna
Yes.
talk again. So thank you for
Yes,
inviting me.
I
It's awesome.
appreciate it. Listen, coronavirus hit, but after everything's done, we still have to meet up.
I
We have to
know.
either grab
We
some
will.
coffee or a glass of wine.
Wine. Yes.
Yes.
Martini, something.
Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
And I
Sue.
want to thank everyone who's been watching. I'll send you a copy of this for sure. So
Okay.
I'll reach out to you this week. So
Thank
thank you so much for
Thank you guys.
everybody. Yes, thank you so much. All right. I'll send you
All
a
right.
copy of this.
All
Thank
right, hon.
you.
We'll talk.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good night.
You too, babe.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Hi, Selena. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my God. Wasn't that like the best? She shared so many golden nuggets with us. things that you need to start your business, to brand your business, real estate investing, stock investing. I mean, what more do you want? Like, this is amazing, amazing, amazing knowledge that all of these women are sharing. Thank you, Selena, for tuning in. She just did an amazing live with us last week also and shared so many great information. I really appreciate all of you guys, especially my women who are killing it out there, who are doing the thing, and who also believe so much in sisterhood and supporting each other. That is like the biggest thing for me, and that is the thing that I love the most. And when I see it in fruition, it just makes my heart melt. Selena, you actually missed it. I had like a little dance-a-thon before I went on with Rosalyn.